Welcome, my name is Nicole. I'm moderating this dope-ass panel. So Vidding has been around since the era of VHS tapes, but in no way has it become a relic of the past. Join us as we discuss what Vidding is, what inspires us to do, what inspires these folks to do it, and how they transform favorite films and TV shows into an artistic expression of sight and sound. After the panel, join us at the Vidding Lounge, which is in the...
it's in the main hall, next to Tito's, the driver sample, and then over.
Sweet. Where we will be screening fan vids created by these awesome folks right here. And so directly to my right, Alice Stevens. Alice has been a femme slasher since Buffy/Faith came on screen and loves queer subtext more than just about anything. She's a fanfic writer and bidder since 2006 and runs the Femme Slash show at TGI. Femme Slash. Welcome, Alice.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. And next over we have Juls. Juls is an undergraduate of fine arts, currently studying in college. I'm so sorry. In her spare time, she has found a liking in editing together fan-made music videos for the show Ruby? Ruby. She passionately supports the growing relationship between the main characters, Blake and Yang, and you can find that most of her content centers around them. You will also find her in the deep depths of Femme/side of Tumblr, reblogging, and loving other various queer ladyships. Welcome at Juls. I guess April Funiestas over here, also known as Fumatic21. April has been a proud member of fandom ever since the days of Willow and Terra. Vidding is her fandom passion, and she's happy to be spreading the gospel of Vidding at ClexaCon.
That sounded better in my head.
It sounds great!
You're doing the Lord's work.
Yes, good Lord's work.
The good gay Lord's work. And finally we have John Arrow. John is a trans-masculine fan from Seattle with a deep love of television, cons, poker. This is like your space.
I'll tell you what, I love this place.
And fandom. He is the founder of the multi-fandom Femme/Con TGI Femme/ and has been bidding for over 10 years. When not crying over OTPs, he can be found teaching 7-year-olds how to solve math word problems about his OTPs.
If Rachel has 57 apples and Quinn has 43 apples.
That's fantastic.
How long does John cry?
So I'm going to ask Alice to, can you explain to the folks here who may not know what Vidding is?
Sure. If you didn't know, Vidding is the art of making vids, or fan vids, which is taking video footage from a TV show, movies, anime, comics, pretty much any type of media, and then setting it to music or other audio, and creating usually short form, music video type vid to it, sometimes longer, but mostly shorter.
Thank you, Alice. Oh, and I'll let you keep that. So let's go down the line and I'll have you just briefly explain like how you came to Vidding, like so basically your Vidding genealogy.
The first vids I ever saw were Buffy vids back in like 2001, I would say. Just through Buffy fandom online, and I'd download them. They take a really long time to download in those days, and I just collected them and loved them and watched them. And then eventually in college I decided, hey, maybe I could actually do this myself. My degree's in media studies, so I made a lot of vids as projects for college, which was very nice. And I've kind of vidded off and on since 2006. I've had some breaks where I just, was not feeling inspired, but recently I've been making a lot of vids to premiere at conventions like TGI Femme/ and VidCon, and that's really motivated me to know that my vid will go to premiere to show where there's, kind of a captive audience and people who really love vids and appreciate them. So I've had a really good time getting back into it more and more over the past few years.
It's attached, apparently. Getting into Vidding for me, I was originally inspired by April, one of my inspires, and she inspired me that you can make these vids yourself at home without any experience or starting without any experience. I was in the Ruby fandom. I just joined, And basically, I really love that show, and I wanted to be able to create that sort of art form and just be able to express myself in different ways and how I felt about these different characters and their relationships. So basically, that's how I kind of just got started. It's just a hobby for me. I don't really do it for anything else, you know. I don't have a Patreon for it or anything. I know some people have Patreons for their vids, but for me it's just something fun, and I kind of got into it and I kept going from there. I've only been doing vidding for about a year now, so it's pretty short-lived for me. It's a baby. Yeah.
So I started vidding kind of like Alice. I got into the Buffy fandom. And I didn't even know about Willow and Tara at all. My wife was taking a queer characters in media class in college. I just happened to look at the book and there was Willow and Tara. And I was like, wait a minute, there's a gay couple on Buffy? Because I've watched like the first 2 seasons. I was more into Dawson's Creek, to be honest. So I saw that and I was like, whoa. So I just immediately found all the content that I could find on them. And they were the first jump into fandom that I ever had. Like, I had no idea that there was this whole subculture surrounding people who are a little bit more obsessive about TV shows and characters online. And they just really enamored me, and I really wanted to find a way that I could take how I felt about them and express it in a creative way. So I had mentioned this for you guys who were in the other panel that I did. I found the source and I bought the DVDs and I just started trying to figure out how do I do this. And then I thought I was being brilliant. I thought, oh wow, no one's ever done this before. And then you just unlock this entire community of people. This was pre-YouTube days. I don't even know how I remember you, Jero. I've seen his stuff all over the place, but I think it was like LiveJournal or something like that, where it was a little bit more niche. Now it's very widespread. So I just have a very, very passionate relationship to queer female relationships on TV, and I think what lent itself to that was the fact that I didn't see a lot of queer relationships on TV. Willow and Tara wasn't it, and I gravitated towards that. And it's really nice to come full circle to a place like ClexaCon, where we're all about that positive representation. And I think that's a big draw for me because it means so much to me, and the only way that I can really express the emotions that they give me and the way they make me feel is to make these videos so that people can feel the same way I do. People can see the passion that they have for these characters through my eyes.
I want to follow that. It was really good. So I started vidding in 2006. Alice and I were in Battlestar Galactica fandom together.
Wow.
And I'm calling you out right now. And a mutual friend of ours showed me really the first vids that I saw. I think she had found them online somehow. They were not very good, but she liked making them. I went to visit her one weekend and we were like, hey, let's make a video. Okay, sure, we'll do that. So we made one. It was terrible, but I fell in love with the process of it. I'm a very visual person, and so I liked the idea of, oh, I can put these clips together, and it's a lot faster than like me writing a story where I have to convince you that these two characters who don't have very many scenes together are actually totally boning, or I can put clips next to each other and show you that they are eye-fucking constantly. And it was just a whole lot of fun to do. And so, I mean, Alice and I started making like crack shit vids together, and it was just hilarious. And then I thought, okay, or I could like actually try and get better at this. And so I did a lot of online research and learned how to do the tech and better programs and whatnot, and really started vidding for real in early 2007. And it has just continued on. It's been my primary mode of fanish expression. I mean, I can write fic, I have written fic, but being the visual person that I am, I would much rather see something on the screen. Plus the thrill of making a vid and then watching it on a big screen at a con. Oh my god, it's like a drug. I mean, it's so good. And in fact, we're gonna go watch some vids that we've made when this panel is over, and you should come hang out with us.
Watching somebody cry while they watch your vid is like one of the best experiences I've ever had.
last year's Lexa's Legacy panel, were any of you here?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I
They
was
shared
there.
my Lexa video, and I thought people were going to come after me. No trigger warning, no nothing. And I was like, oh god.
No, but oh, sorry.
If you watch that video, you can actually hear my best friend just vaguely cry.
Yeah, that was good. So then I was like, don't turn the lights on, there are people here having emotional breakdowns.
And then a few weeks later at TGI Funslash, we showed one of your ClexaCons, and you could hear all the panties dropping because it was so good. Like just this gasp, people were like, holy crap. When you can evoke an emotional response from someone, from a piece of art that you have made, I mean, that's the dream, right?
Yeah.
You know, I make a lot of it just for me, but if somebody else enjoys something that you have made, then that's an incredibly powerful experience. Sorry, Nicole, you probably had a question.
No, I mean, this is great. So can you quickly explain, or not quickly explain, what crack is? You mentioned it, and I...
Like chemically?
No, you talk about like crack ships.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So, shipping two characters that don't interact very much, maybe might even be from completely different shows, or, you know, a ship where someone goes, man, I never thought about that before, and it just seems like way out of left field.
And also just like more humorous vids.
Okay.
That maybe are the more emotional ones, but like edited to get some laughs probably.
Also, like AU vids, there's a great one of Smallville where Clark and Lex Luthor get married and Clark gives birth to a kitten. Yes, that's a thing.
It's so great.
It is amazing.
It has radioactive unicorns. It's
So I guess that would be like...
Oh, yeah.
Just nonsensical, what the hell did I just watch kind of thing. So
I support it. Do you folks, like, do you produce a lot of crack?
Do you want me to be your crack dealer?
I don't know what kind of crack I'm into.
I have written more crack than I invented. I'll just say it.
I mean, my most popular video was crack, so I'd say pretty good. Crack here.
You're a good crack dealer.
Juls.
I made a snake vid to Maneater by Hall & Oates once. That was pretty crack.
That's pretty crazy.
That was awesome.
And so, John, you talked about like that you also dabble in fic. Do you folks do you use other mediums, or is it like mainly bidding to like create?
I think we all kind of start on the fanfic train, and I just realized I'm a terrible writer. I'm like John, I'm more visual. So, like, for me to write fanfic, it would take me like 2 hours to construct maybe one paragraph, because I would always go back. And actually, I do the same thing in Vidding. I always go back and from the beginning and rewatch it and like tweak it so that I actually never get anything done. But no, I think like everybody on this panel, that's kind of our main creative outlet for fandom.
I'd say I'm about half and half.
Okay.
Writing fic and bidding. It just depends the ideas I have, what I want to see visually. Maybe something you can't make visually for whatever reason based on the footage that exists, then I turn to writing fic. And it's funny because whenever I'm doing one, I think the other is so much easier. So when I'm writing fic, I'm like, this fucking is so hard. Like, why don't I just make a vid? And when I'm making a vid, I'm like, oh man, what if I was just writing fic? I wouldn't have to do any of this tech stuff. So kind of back and forth for me.
I think fic is great because you have an unlimited amount of creativity that you can add to it. With fanfic, you're so limited to the source. Like, you can't, there's only so many times you can use a show and create a video before it all starts looking the same. And if the show's over or if the show's canceled, you're just kind of stuck with that. And unless you want to make crack vids or AU vids, which are a little bit more work, you're just kind of stuck with that. So
It's true. It can be very hard to make something familiar look fresh. I mean, God, for a decade, every single Buffy vid would have her jumping off the tower, or there are these kind of classic shots that everybody would use, and vids would all look the same. Vidding versus fic both certainly have their pros and cons. You know, with fic, you can literally make it be whatever you want it to be, as April was saying, and with Vidding, you are limited to the source footage that exists. But at the same time, you get to look at their faces, and you get to use things like motion and the beautiful cinematography that exists in that source. Rather than taking a paragraph and describing how one woman looked at the other, I can just show you. So there's some shorthand that comes with it. And I think also the experience of showing somebody, hey, I made a thing. Like, I wrote a 500-page fic. It's kind of tricky to get my friends to sit down and read that. But I can say, here's a 3-minute vid that I made. And they go, okay, and I can show it to them. So they are different, but they're both a form of expression and art, and in a way both a form of writing, depending on how narrative your vid might be or what you're saying with it.
So I'll move on to what inspires you. Like, so when you have, tell us, walk us through the creation of the vid. Like, how do you get inspired?
Lesbians.
Okay. Who wants to take that?
For me, I'm really inspired by music.
Right.
So listening to a lot of music, and then whatever fandoms I'm really into, at that time, I'm usually just thinking about those a lot all the time, and then listening to music, and sometimes it'll just click, like, oh, this song would be so perfect for this ship or this character, and then I keep listening to it and keep thinking about it, and then eventually start to kind of see a vid in my head, and then it gets to a point where it's like, oh, maybe I should make that vid happen because I've been watching it in my head for however many weeks. And yeah, from there, if it seems like it's doable based on the source footage, you're like, okay, let's do it. And yeah, if it's well, some go better than others.
You're like, do these clips actually exist? Or
Yeah,
have I
did I imagine that shot? Do I just want that shot to exist, or does it actually exist? Ask yourself this question before you start your vid.
Was that in a fic?
I feel like for me, I do get inspired. I get inspired by music more so than the actual. Because I already have like an undying love for the source. It's the music that will get me. And I'm like Alice, I will listen to it obsessively on repeat until I can actually sit down and do it. And I will just formulate it in my mind. I'm like you. I'm like, I remember the scene from somewhere. And the music that I tend to choose is more, I like a dramatic buildup. I like levels and dynamics and things that I can use to enhance an emotional response to things, to particular scenes or particular moments in the show. So, I try to vary a lot of what I feel like I've used a lot of Rihanna lately, though, if I think back now.
That's fine.
Rihanna has some great music, but I'm always open to listening to different things. I remember one time I was in a training class, and I was coordinating it, so I wasn't supposed to be paying attention, but I was there to make sure that it was all going well, and I was just flipping through YouTube, and I came across some random song, and it just sunk its claws into me. Like, I could picture everything that I wanted to make with that particular song, and I just sat there for the whole class just in a daze, and I played it on repeat after that. And it's funny, you play it on repeat, you don't get sick of it. I know some people do.
You have to love the song if you're going to do it, yeah, right? Yeah, I've talked to a lot of you.
Hey, well, I guess mine's the same. I really get inspired by the music. I find I go through all these songs on YouTube. I'll just click randomly from it'll range from indie music, and then all of a sudden I'm in the remixes, and then I'm in pop the next section. I just listen to a bunch of music, and when I find the song, be like, oh my gosh, this matches this character or this relationship between these two characters, and it just kind of happens from there. And then it's kind of the same process. You listen to that song on repeat for the next week or something. Sometimes it's a month when you can't figure it out, and then you finally put it down, and it just happens. And then vid block happens sometimes, but you get past that.
I feel like it's like this creature that lives inside of me, and if I don't get it out, I can't focus on anything else. It needs to get out, it needs to be made. I have 2 children. Sometimes they get ignored.
I
know I'm gonna need some math tutoring.
I got you. Crack and math tutoring. Yeah, and I think part of why everyone's talking about music is because song choice is so important. Song choice will make or break your vid. I mean, obviously, the clips that you put down are going to play into it, but no matter how good you are as a vidder, if your song is not working, then your vid is not going to work. Yeah, like April, I like songs that are dynamic, songs that go somewhere, a song that's not very repetitive, even though I am fairly repetitive in my rambling, and I apologize. I like big drums. I like for there to be something interesting musically that I can play with, that I can cut to. I think the instrumentation can be more important than the lyrics. You can kind of gloss over some lyrics, but if your music is boring, it doesn't matter how interesting your words are. Your viewer is going to get bored and not finish your bid. It has to go somewhere.
Yeah, on the subject of musicality, there's something so fulfilling about having a visual, a scene that's very emotional, and then a beat in the music that's very emotional, and putting the two of them together, which heightens both of those components. And like that's what you live for as a bidder, is to find those where you just match them up, like little pockets of it feels so good.
It's called a climax for a reason.
Can you talk about how y'all deal with the bidder's block?
I don't, I just stopped betting.
You ever see your favorite bidder just like leave for 2 months or more? That's what happens. Sometimes it takes time. I mean, for me, I'll have like these month breaks where I just can't do anything and I'm just sitting at my computer. I'll open up Final Cut Pro, sit there for 5 minutes and rewatch like a half-edited video, and I'm just like, I can't put down another clip. I can't. And then getting past that, I think I have to push myself sometimes to just take a clip or even just start a new project. And this is a problem. I do start a lot of projects and don't finish them. But I have to force myself sometimes to finish them. And I think that's a major way I get past the bidder's block.
I rewatch my old vids, honestly. Not just because I like them, but to remind myself that I am capable of finishing something. To go, oh look, I made this, oh and it was good, and I made it, oh and I liked that one. And after 20 minutes of watching this, I'm like, I can do this, okay. And sometimes, honestly, just throwing random clips down. I tell new bidders all the time that there's not like a wrong way to make the bid, it's just you could make it better based on the sequence of clips you put down. Because a vid can be an infinite combination of the clips that you have. And by swapping things out or rearranging some things, you can make a good vid better or a great vid incredible. And so I think if you're blocked, try just throwing random shit down. Something might work and that could kickstart getting back in the group.
Yeah, for me, like I mentioned before, deadlines really do help me. So the idea that I'm submitting a bid for this particular show, it's like, okay, I got to submit it by this date. So that helps me very clearly, like, okay, push towards it, because I really want people to see it. So yeah, without deadlines, yeah, it's not as helpful for me.
I find for me, I will take a break from the source. Like I'll completely just shut myself off from it and revisit it in a couple of days. And typically when that happens, there's like some new inspiration that occurs and I'll see things differently. Another thing I'll do is I'll just go to YouTube and watch other people's vids about this show because there might have been something I missed or somebody might have chosen a scene that I overlooked to find the inspiration. But yeah, usually a break from it, like just get it out of my system.
So do y'all have like a trademark to your bidding? Like, are you known for something?
Lesbians.
Besides lesbians. Making people cry.
Oh, yeah, that's mine.
That's, you do that a lot.
I do. I feel like, I feel bad about it, but at the same time, my goal is for you to feel something when you watch what I make. And what you're feeling is how I felt when I watched it. It's the emotions that I had. And some people find it cathartic to be able to process that when they're watching some of the stuff. Some people just cry in general, even over the happy stuff. But if I were to say, yeah, I bid for the emotions, I bid for the feels. And the only subject that gets that out of me is when I see queer women in relationships on TV. I just love it. I can't bid anything else really. So
I'm very proud of the way that I use motion in vids, which is much more of a visual aesthetic kind of thing. A lot of my vids don't have a lot of deep feelings in them. In a way, like, vidding is the most, like, dude aspect of my life. Like, it's not necessarily about feelings, I just want it to look really cool, to big drums and stuff. But whether it's external motion, which is the camera is moving, or it's internal motion, where the camera's still, but the characters are moving. There are a lot of really neat things you can do, linking one clip to the next to the next. I like to have shots where it's almost like a relay. The character starts here, moving this way, and then in the next clip, they'll take off from right there somewhere else, or things are spinning, or going this way and that. You can use zooms and all kinds of really cool things. And so that's something that I've really worked on over the years.
I feel like you can really recognize who's just starting out versus who's been doing it for a while when you see people using that kind of motion and they're not just cutting to the beat of the song for every clip. When you see punches being timed or kicks being timed with beats or falls, drops, any kind of motion within the clip being timed to music, I think it's a very kind of advanced, like these people know what they're doing.
Well, and there's a learning curve there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, even just as much as, okay, so if I need to have a punch and I want it to fall on this drum beat, does that mean that I cut from one clip to the next on the drum beat? Is it that I cut a little bit early so that the punch lands on the drum beat? And those things can be just like 4 frames, you know, a fraction of a second's difference. But April's right, you know, the way that people use timing in motion in vids can be really subtle and nuanced.
I think that's how I kind of started out with mine, because I started out with using iMovie, which is not really the best editing program when you get more advanced. It's very minimal, and basically I would have to rely on cutting to beats and putting actions on beats, like a punch, maybe it connects right onto the beat. So basically for me that was my kind of, I think, just my kind of signature, other than angst. I have a lot of angst in myself. I think I got that kind of
probably from me.
Yeah. Well, also, yeah. Well, there's also the couple that I do ship on that show, Ruby. They're in an angst period right now, so I can't really work with much else. So it's kind of like fun to pass on the angst to everybody else. It's just like we're waiting for the couple to get together, but they're not quite there, so everybody's just dying inside, and we're all just like, oh. Kiss already.
So if you're the angst dealer, and April is the tears dealer, and John is the crack dealer, Alice, what do you deal in?
I can't believe this is my reputation.
I would say subtext relationships. That's my favorite thing to vid, and not all of my vids are that, but the majority are. I love vidding subtext because I love the work of 2 characters who aren't together canonically and making a vid so that it appears that they are together canonically. I find that really fun and rewarding, and I definitely make myself laugh when I'm making my vids. I'm very pleased with myself. Like they look like they're together now. So, yeah.
Alex is looking at me because we made. Okay, anyone watch Battlestar Galactica? Anybody? Anybody?
Yeah, you know you did.
Yeah. So we made a Starbuck Rosalind ship vid to Promiscuous by Nelly Furtado.
Yeah.
So,
obviously, Laura Rosalind was Nelly.
Right.
Furtado and Kareth Race was Timbaland.
Yeah. For sure. And vidding subtext, to me at least, like if you are able to do it well, it can be more rewarding than writing a ship that's not canon, because again, like I can take these 2 characters, I can create whatever situation I want, but if I only have this limited source, if you can show this to somebody and they go, okay, wow, they were totally boning, like how did I not see that? Well, because they never had scenes together. Oh, that's right. But if you can convince them of that.
Yeah, I just made a Supercorp vid, and my roommate watched it, and he hasn't watched Supergirl, and after he saw it, he's like, so what is their relationship? I was like, oh, they're friends. They're friends, and he's like, interesting. I was like, yeah, isn't it? Isn't it?
But it's really this game. Really.
And so, I guess for the folks who maybe do not necessarily dabble in vidding, but are interested and maybe intimidated by vidding, Jules, maybe you can answer this. Like, so like what type of software and what type of like technical shit, like how do you start bidding?
I got this. Alright, so I just started out a year ago and I have a MacBook Pro. So Macs come with iMovie as free. So if you have a Mac, it's a good starting place. You can get, you know, your timing down and your beats down. You start to learn how to use editing software. I did stumble across, when I was trying to upgrade iMovie to something better, I stumbled across HitFilm 4, and HitFilm 4 Express is a free version of that, and basically it's like a low-key version of like Sony Vegas, which is used on PCs. And it's it's complicated, so I don't recommend starting out with it unless you really want to go in for a challenge. But it allows for more effects and more things to happen. For the show that I did with Ruby, it's posted on YouTube, so all I have to do is copy the YouTube link, go onto a converter that converts to like 1080p, and then I convert and download online. So it's completely different from what I do, and that's only for like YouTube. It's completely different if you have DVDs or whatnot. I know there's some places online. I don't go to the pirated. I don't advocate. But if it's you,
YouTube though, girl. No judging.
Well, okay. Rooster Teeth is nice. Rooster Teeth, they allow people to.
Okay.
Yeah, productions. They know.
Can the rest of y'all talk about also like what kind of software you use and like pros and cons?
I edit with Final Cut Pro X10, Final Cut 10. It's very, it has a steep learning curve. Again, I wouldn't recommend that. But it does a lot of things that other softwares won't. Mainly, I like to use a lot of dialogue in my fan videos, so I need a 5.1 source that allows me to turn off all the background stuff and bring the dialogue through so it's nice and crystal and clear. I think that's the main feature I use. There's all these bells and whistles on that I've never touched. Honestly, I'll do a little bit of color correction, some audio mixing, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and so iMovie and Final Cut are both Mac products. I am a PC bidder. I use a version of Adobe Premiere that is far from the most current version. I'm behind the times. But just to hop back to something that Jules was saying, so there are two types of editors. There are single line editors, which are like iMovie and Windows Movie Maker, where you have to lay things down in order, and if you change something early on, it will shift everything else back, and it's a huge pain in the ass, but they're decent for just getting started and figuring out, do I actually want to do this bidding thing or not? And then there are multi-line editors where you have the option of several tracks, and oh, I can put the beginning of the vid down, and I can put this one clip at the 2-minute mark because I know where that goes, and I can do this section here, and I can do that, and I can swap things in and move them around, and you get a lot more flexibility, and that's when you feel like a grown-up when you're using one of those. So yeah, and so there's Sony Vegas, there's Adobe Premiere, on Macs there's Final Cut Pro. So those are
and
kind of the
also,
big ones.
Well, yeah, I'm also a PC bidder, and I bid on a laptop. My laptop is from like 2011, so not super high tech. I use software called Magic's Movie Edit Pro. I bought it at Fry's Electronics for $50, and it's great. It can do a lot, but it's also really intuitive. I don't do effects or dialogue in my vids, so for me, it's pretty perfect, and I've also found that like my system requirements can work with it. I don't have any problems with crashing or freezing, so it's not really resource heavy on a computer. So I love it. I feel I got lucky. Yeah, I haven't graduated to like the really fancy software yet, but for what I'm doing, it's like this $50 software is
Just fits your needs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This car will get me from A to B. That is what I need.
And so once you have these videos, how do you market them, and how do you like build community with other bidders?
Go to cons? No, but like really. right after I started Vidding, I began going to a convention called VividCon, which is a Vidding convention that's been around since 2002, although this August will be the final one, which makes me sad. But there's a new con forming after that called FanWorksCon that will have a Vidding track. But yeah, that cons can be a great place to find other fans who know what vids are, or want to watch vids, or even just someone who likes your same fandom or same ship, and you can be like, hey, have you heard of this vid? And they'll probably be willing to watch it. But the internet has gotten so big. YouTube is huge. When I started Vidding, it was all on LiveJournal. Now there's some vids on AO3, and I put vids on Vimeo, and again, everything's on YouTube, and vids are on Tumblr, and they're kind of everywhere, and so it can be very hard finding the audience. There's an audience for every vid.
Sure, I made a Supercorp vid, but there's like, 10,000 Supercorp vids on YouTube, so yeah, how do you promote your specific vid? It's tough. I definitely still struggle with that, but cons also, I agree with John.
I mean, I just got started, but Tumblr, I'm on Tumblr a lot. I also have a Tumblr blog dedicated towards my YouTube channel for the same ship. But basically, I use that to kind of promote and say, hey, like, I put this video out on YouTube, how about this? People get to comment and, like, your blog and all that stuff. And that's how you make friends and basically kind of grow a community, because some content creators will come to you or you can go to them. And you just kind of start this little community. I have some great video editing friends. Shout out to Hammer Time. Amazing video editor for the review fandom, absolutely amazing. But she makes these amazing videos, and we know all these different people. And I think that you just need to connect to a few people first to actually just get started and get yourself out there and make friends. Don't stick around the popular people. Stick around the people that love you and will support you just as you are for them. I think there's a little bit of community around this.
I mostly post my stuff to YouTube, and I can't pinpoint what it was or what happened exactly that made one particular video just explode in hits and views. I don't have a formula for it. I just put it out there and hope, I just put it out there and hope that people will watch it. And it's one of those things where I think what happened is it got shared across different platforms and people got turned on to it. I'm on Tumblr as well. That's where I started off. I'm a little bit more on Twitter nowadays, but I have no formula. I don't know. I really don't. I just put it out in the world and hope that it brings back, happiness or something else.
There's a magic to like hitting a perfect point in the zeitgeist. Like, oh, people really wanted this thing. Like, I made one particular vid for the Glee fandom that apparently the whole world wanted because I put it on Tumblr, and the next morning I had 4,000 notes, and I was like, what the crap is this? I usually get 3.
All it takes is one big Tumblr user.
I tell you what, like, if you make something that's saying something that hasn't been said, or you're saying something particularly well, you've created a certain argument, you've done something really neat, then it can be amazing how fandom can just latch onto them. They're so thirsty.
And so before we go into a Q&A session, what do y'all want to see, how do you want to see Vidding move forward? Jules.
Okay, well, I use YouTube as a platform, and that's a really hard one when it comes to copyrights and stuff and who owns what, because YouTube has a really different system to that than other things. And basically, moving forward, I want vidders to find a better platform where they're able to show their vids without getting blocked, or just sometimes it's blocked in certain countries, sometimes it's blocked all over the world. And I think it would be best if we could find just some sort of place to share our vids where we're open and free to do whatever, as long as we, give credit to the content that we take. Give credit to whomever wrote the song and whomever sung it, whomever made this footage or that. But I think there needs to be I always enjoy seeing more people, but I see so many people just leave Vidding because of the content blocking on YouTube. And YouTube is such a huge platform for vidders. and now we're kind of spread out throughout Tumblr and Vimeo and other sources. It's just crazy. And honestly, I didn't know about two of these vidders before this panel because I didn't really see their YouTube. Maybe they're based somewhere else, like in conventions and stuff. And I think I want to see Vidding kind of head towards one bigger community where we can all kind of link up, if that makes sense.
I don't put vids on YouTube because they get pulled down. Like, why would I do that?
I think it'd be nice to see more vidders get into the convention scene, actually, and it's also nice having Vidding be represented at more conventions.
We're like the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah, like VidCon, which is ending this year, but yeah, being replaced with FanWorksCon. Like, it's cool to watch, vids on your computer, but seeing them in like a movie theater style room is so amazing, and I hope other vidders know that that could be an option for them to come and like show their vids to a packed house of vid fans. I think that's an amazing piece of the experience that I think more people might be interested in if they know about it.